January 8th, 2026, a date that will soon be etched into the memory of millions across the United Kingdom. On this day, the nation stands on the brink of a major weather event, one that meteorologists have been tracking with growing concern. The United Kingdom braces for Storm Gerretti, a weather event unlike any in recent memory. Satellite images show a swirling mass of clouds stretching for hundreds of miles, bearing down on the British Isles. Weather warnings flash across the nation, from the rugged Scottish Highlands to the bustling cities of the south. This isn't just another winter storm. Gerretti is forecast to bring a rare and dangerous combination of hazards, and the sense of unease is palpable in communities everywhere. Newsrooms buzz with urgent updates, and people step outside to see the sky darken, feeling the tension in the air. Gerretti brings a dangerous trio: hurricane-force winds, heavy wet snow, and relentless rain. Each element alone would be cause for concern, but together, they threaten to overwhelm even the most prepared towns and cities. The entire nation, from Scotland to the southern coast, faces potential disruption. No region is untouched by the threat, and every community is urged to take the warning seriously. December's record rainfall has left the ground saturated, so Gerretti's rain will quickly lead to flooding. Fields and rivers are already swollen, and rural roads are waterlogged, making the risk of flash floods and landslides even greater. Emergency services, local councils, and families are on high alert, preparing for the worst. Across the country, sandbags are stacked, flood defenses are checked, and windows are boarded up as people brace for impact. The risk is amplified. Wind can bring down trees and power lines, snow can paralyze travel, and roads may become impassable. Emergency crews are ready, but the scale of the threat means everyone must be vigilant. Rain will overflow rivers, sending fast-moving floodwaters through villages and towns. The danger is not just to property, but to lives and livelihoods. Communities must heed warnings and have plans in place. Local leaders urge residents to check emergency kits, stay informed, and look out for vulnerable neighbors. This is a test of resilience, preparedness, and community spirit. In times like these, the strength of a nation is measured not just by its infrastructure, but by the willingness of people to help one another. The story of Gerretti is not just meteorological, it's about how we respond together. It's about neighbors supporting each other, emergency responders risking their safety, and families finding comfort in unity. As the storm approaches, we'll track every development. Stay alert, stay prepared, and remember. In the face of nature's fury, our greatest strength is our shared resolve. Storm Gerretti's story began several days ago, when meteorologists first noticed a rapidly intensifying low-pressure system swirling over the open Atlantic. At first, it was just another disturbance among many, but within hours, its pressure dropped dramatically, catching the attention of weather experts across Europe. Satellite images revealed a vast, churning mass of clouds, hinting at the power building within. Forecasters quickly realized this was no ordinary storm. It was developing the classic hallmarks of a major winter event. By January 6th, advanced computer models and real-time data confirmed that a significant winter storm was on a direct path toward the UK. Meteorologists pored over forecast maps, tracking the storm's projected route and intensity. The models showed a deepening system, with the potential to bring not just strong winds, but also heavy precipitation and rapidly changing conditions. The UK braced for what was shaping up to be one of the most impactful storms of the season. The Met Office officially named the storm Gerretti, a move that signaled to the public and emergency services that significant impacts were expected within the next 48 hours. Warnings flashed across digital signs and smartphones, urging people to prepare for severe weather. The naming of a storm is never taken lightly. It's a clear message that communities should take action, secure property, and stay informed as the situation develops. As Gerretti's leading edge swept across Ireland and Cornwall, the atmosphere changed dramatically. Barometers plummeted, signaling a rapid drop in pressure, a classic sign of a weather bomb. Coastal winds intensified, whipping up waves and bending trees, while local residents reported the eerie calm that often precedes a major storm. The first impacts were felt along the western coasts, where communities braced for what was to come. Tonight, January 8th, marks the main event. Hurricane-force winds are now battering the southwest, rattling homes and uprooting trees. Meanwhile, a surge of cold air is sweeping in behind the storm's core, transforming rain into heavy wet snow across central Wales, the Midlands, and up into northern England. Blizzard conditions are developing with visibility dropping and travel becoming treacherous. Emergency services are on high alert, responding to calls as the storm's full force is unleashed. As Gerretti continues its eastward march through Friday, the storm will bring prolonged, soaking rain to towns in the east, raising the risk of flooding. Along the spine of England, deep snow is accumulating, blanketing rural roads and making travel nearly impossible in some areas. Drivers are urged to stay off the roads, and communities are preparing for possible power outages and disruptions to daily life. By Friday night, Gerretti will finally move out into the North Sea, but not before leaving a trail of widespread disruption in its wake. Flooded streets, damaged infrastructure, and downed power lines will be common sights across affected regions. Emergency crews will be working around the clock to restore services and help those impacted by the storm's fury. In the days ahead, the true extent of Gerretti's damage will become clear. Communities will come together to assess the aftermath, repair what's been lost, and support one another through the recovery. The story of Storm Gerretti is still unfolding, and its impact will be felt long after the skies have cleared. The Met Office has issued a patchwork of severe weather warnings for the UK, amber warnings for wind target Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly, with gusts up to 90 mph threatening property and safety. A broad amber snow warning covers the Midlands and northern England, forecasting up to 30 centimeters of heavy wet snow, enough to bring down trees, power lines, and halt travel. Yellow warnings for snow, rain, and ice extend across Wales, eastern England, and Scotland, highlighting risks of flooding and treacherous surfaces. These warnings are not just colors, they're urgent calls to action. Residents in affected areas must secure property, avoid unnecessary travel, and prepare for power outages. Almost no part of the country will escape Gerretti's reach. Heed the warnings, they're designed to save lives. Gerretti's first punch is wind, gusts up to 90 mph, strong enough to damage buildings, rip off roofs, and topple even the sturdiest trees. These hurricane-force winds can turn everyday objects into dangerous projectiles, shattering windows and causing widespread destruction in a matter of minutes. The roar of the wind is relentless, and the chaos it brings can be both sudden and overwhelming. Power cuts and blocked roads are likely as lines and branches fall. Emergency crews work tirelessly to clear debris, but the sheer scale of the damage can leave entire neighborhoods isolated for hours or even days. Downed power lines pose additional risks, making it dangerous to venture outside. Next comes the snow, heavy, wet, and fast accumulating, especially over higher ground and into urban centers. Within hours, streets can disappear beneath a thick white blanket, making navigation treacherous for both vehicles and pedestrians. The weight of the snow adds to the strain on already battered infrastructure. This snow clings to every surface, weighing down trees and power lines until they snap, and making travel nearly impossible. Cars become stranded, and public transport grinds to a halt. The risk of being trapped or cut off from help increases with every passing hour. For the south and east, the threat is relentless rain, over 100 millimeters in just 24 hours. Streets quickly turn into rivers, and the relentless downpour makes it difficult for emergency services to keep up with the rising water. With the ground already saturated from previous storms, flooding is inevitable as rivers burst their banks and drains are overwhelmed. Homes and businesses face the threat of water damage, and evacuation orders may be issued with little warning. These hazards don't act alone. Wind drives snow into towering drifts, power cuts leave homes cold and dark, and freezing rain can coat everything in a dangerous sheet of ice. The combination of these elements multiplies the danger, making even simple tasks hazardous. The combination of wind, snow, and rain turns a challenging storm into a national emergency. Emergency services are stretched to their limits, and communities must come together to support one another through the crisis. Caution is essential. These conditions are life-threatening. Heed all warnings and stay informed as the situation can change rapidly and unpredictably. Prepare for all three hazards, not just one. Stock up on essentials, secure your home, and have an emergency plan in place for your family and pets. Gerretti is a storm that demands respect. Its power is unpredictable and its impact far-reaching, reminding us all of the importance of preparation and vigilance in the face of nature's fury. Gerretti's worst impacts will be felt in specific regions. Heavy snow targets Central Wales, the West Midlands and the Pennines. Places like the Peak District and Sheffield could see over 30 centimeters, risking isolation. Major cities like Birmingham face enough snow to paralyze transport and daily life. Eastern and southeastern England brace for hours of heavy rain and rising rivers, with flood warnings in place for communities along the Thames, Severn and Trent. Cornwall and Devon will be battered by hurricane-force winds and dangerous coastal conditions. Each region faces its own battle, but all must prepare for severe disruption. Storm Gerretti will disrupt daily life for millions. Travel chaos is inevitable. Motorways and rail lines may close, airports warn of delays, and public transport will grind to a halt. Power outages are likely as heavy snow and wind bring down lines, leaving homes cold and dark. Flooding threatens low-lying and riverside communities, with evacuations possible in the worst-hit areas. Emergency shelters are being prepared, but the emotional and financial toll will be immense. Schools will close, businesses will struggle, and supply chains will be disrupted. Everyday routines will pause as people focus on safety and survival. Vulnerable residents face the greatest risks. Community support is vital. The storm's impact will linger long after the skies clear. Gerretti will test the nation's resilience. The UK's response to Gerretti is massive and coordinated. The government's Cobra Committee leads the national strategy, while the Environment Agency deploys flood barriers and monitors rivers. Over 300 flood defense teams and the British Army stand ready to assist with evacuations and emergency tasks. Local councils mobilize gritters, snowplows, and emergency shelters for displaced residents. Volunteers and charities provide hot meals, check on the vulnerable, and share real-time updates via social media. This network of official and grassroots support is crucial. Together, the nation is determined to weather the storm. Gerretti is not an isolated event, it's part of a troubling trend. Climate change is fueling more frequent and intense storms, as warmer air and oceans provide more energy and moisture. Explosive cyclogenesis, like we see with Gerretti, is becoming more common. The jet stream's unpredictable path leads to longer, more severe weather events. December's record rainfall and today's flooding are linked by a changing climate. Each extreme event compounds the next, making recovery harder. The UK, and the world, must invest in both reducing emissions and adapting infrastructure. Gerretti is a wake-up call. Climate change is here, and its impacts are real. The time to act is now. As Gerretti rages, safety is the top priority. Follow Met Office warnings, avoid unnecessary travel, and prepare for power cuts and flooding. The coming days will reveal the storm's true toll, but stories of resilience and community will emerge. Recovery will be long. Cleanup, repairs, and support for those affected. Gerretti is a stark reminder of our vulnerability and the need for greater investment in resilience. For now, stay vigilant, check on others, and have a plan. By working together, the UK can weather even the fiercest storm. Stay safe and stay informed.